Hello everyone, and today I will be talking about GNG Electronics and is it a data center proxy or not? This is the main question. And the company is about 6,000 crores. It holds a PE of 42. It goes about 5,800 to 6,100, and depending on the price rise and fall, and the promoter holding is about 77%. It does a very good ROE and ROC of above 30%, ROC of 38%, and has a 10% operating margin. A company which is basically a trading company has an operating margin of 10%. So before further ado, let's get in the disclaimer. This content is for informational and educational purposes only, and it is not a financial advice or investment advice of any sort. So don't come after me. And after that, the securities have their own risk. You should always do your due diligence and understand the risk that you are getting into. Apart from that, I may or may not have any position in the company. I may buy and sell at any time. So don't be like you didn't tell me before buying or before selling. Or this video also does not mean that you should buy or sell. Do your own due diligence. So that's it. Coming to the company, it is GNG Electronics Limited, but the ticker is EBGNG, standing for Electronic Bazaar. That is their website, electronicbazaar.com. It recently completed its first year of listing. It listed on 30th of July 2025 at something 200 price, and it is last traded on 330 something. So it gives a return of absolute terms of about 120%, I think. After that, it was 400 crores of fresh issue and rest was OFS. So there's that about the IPO. What exactly the company does, it takes your business grade laptops like Dell Latitude, then there is, what do you say, most popular one is that Lenovo ThinkPad or something like that, and it refurbishes them and then gives out them to other people who want them, basically to other companies who want them for simpler tasks, and that's that. The company does not provide much of information in their presentation. So this was a snippet from their recent presentation, and it explains what the company exactly does and what is happening. So it provides refurbished computing solutions to basically businesses. Second point is that it is in more than 50 countries, and it recently partnered in this quarter with Redington Limited, that is one of the India's biggest offline device distributor kind of business. So the key question is, why will someone buy a refurbished laptop? And one of the main thing is that you get a better CPU, better screen, better chassis, better anything else with a price reduction of 30 to 50% on a business laptop. And most of the people in businesses don't really require that high level of processor and CPU. So a couple of year old processor will work just fine for them. If you go and see these listings, this is a 7th generation CPU. That's way old. This is a 10th generation. This is fairly good. These are the one. For 7th generation for 37,000, I won't pay that, but okay, someone might be willing to do that. So if you are into billing, let's say if you are into some kind of administrative task, like if you are secretary or you are scheduling meetings or just raising tickets, then it is very fairly good laptops for someone with those roles. Apart from them, someone in a research institute, someone in an educational institute, they have to write reports and make tasks and other things like that. They don't need very heavy usage, so they can work with that. So if we go for product-wise breakup, the company does 75% of its revenue come from sales of laptop. Rest is just desktop and tablets and servers and smartphones. That is a smaller part, but a still significant 24% of part. The company promoters are Ambal Electronics, that's the holding company, and Sharad Khandelwal, that was the MD, and Vidhi Sharad Khandelwal, some family member. As of the last year, it was product geographical breakup was Middle East was the major portion, then India, USA, and others. But it has changed, and we will come to that. This is a listing that I found, and it was a good one. It gives a 11th generation processor, 8 GB RAM, 256, sorry, 512 GB SSD with Windows Pro for 50,000, and it is a fairly good deal considering that you get a 3 years replacement warranty including the battery and the adapter. If you go to buy a second hand or a refurbished or pre-owned laptop on, let's say, Amazon or Flipkart or some other website, you get maybe 3 months, or in the best case scenario 6 months of warranty, and sometimes it does not include battery and adapter. So it is a fairly good deal that we are getting over here, considering what have been happening to the RAM and SSD prices all over. And this is a not so comparable, but a newer laptop that will cost, and it comes with the one of the latest Ultra 5 Intel processors with 16 GB of RAM and 512 SSD. Sorry, for 1,33,000. Uh, it is not an apple to apple comparison, I understand, but you don't need to pay 2.5 times. That's 50 and 50, 125, something like that. And that shows as a discount over 2,75,000, and I can't believe that. So I won't pay anything for 16 GB of RAM. I have 16 GB of RAM in my CPU, and it does not is that powerful. So it is way over. So in most of the roles, you don't really require this. Coming to the quarterly results that they have posted just a few days ago. You can see the operating margin of 10%, 9%. It dipped into March of 6%, then 10, 11, 12. It is an exceptional time. And it recently got an all-time high of 10, rising from 10 to 12%. Whereas if you go for the net margin, it was the highest ever. 4.76, 6.5 I think was the highest, and after that it came to 7.5 for one quarter, 8, 6, then again rising to 7. And this was 7. You will be saying that it was higher in this quarter or this quarter, but you should see that the tax over here was 10%, 10%. This time it was 19%. So that's not really comparable. You see the profit before tax 36 year here, 36 year over here. So that's what's happening. And if we are not paying that much tax, then we have a very high revenue. So in June 24 and June 25, the sales growth was of 22% and the profit growth was of 25%. But this time in June 25 and June 26, the sales growth was of 32% and the profit growth was of 52%. So that's a significant jump in the profit. Coming to the promoter holding, it has been only just been 1 year over here, so that has not seen major changes. The government SEBI mandates to be somewhere below 75%, so it has come to 74.78, and that's good. But one of the key things I would like to mention over here that FII's holding has been increasing from 3 to 5.27% this time, whereas TI's holding has gone from 4 to 6.8%. So that's something that FIs and DIs are looking into company. The public holding has been the same of 13.6% to 13.1%, not very much changing. The key problem over here is that the float of the company, the free float of the company is fairly limited, and that's why it is very highly volatile. So one need to keep an eye on that. Apart from that, the asset that the company owns is a major part is inventory. And the problem with inventory is that if the inventory price starts to fall, they have to sell at a lower point, at a lower price point, and that will turn their advantage of inventory that is there currently to a disadvantage. Apart from that, they have a significant 207 crores of receivables that are pending. So that's also something that one should look at. That is of 406 crore, and I don't think it's an issue because most of it is short-term borrowings. So there's that. This is the press release on 1st of July 2026. The company partnered with Reddington to expand its network, specifically in the tier 2 and tier 3 markets of India. So, yeah. If we see over here, the customer segment is 95% business to business and only 5% something business to customer, like selling on websites and such thing like that. You can see a direct correlation over here. The distribution channel online sales are 4.6, B2C are 4.6, B2B is 94, offline sales are 95%. So basically only B2B people get on offline part and B2C like regular customer comes on the online part. Yeah, coming to why it is a main focus, because a lot of new people will end their masters, their bachelors, and people will get into internship and things like that, specifically into the second half of the company, because in India as well as in outside of India, graduation cycle ends over there, and a lot of corporate hiring happens here. There is also a thing like corporate flush, that they have a significant amount of funds that need to be spent in a year, and if they are not able to sell it, then they will upgrade their people, their systems and such. So that kind of plays also there, but I don't think it is a major point. A major point that is back to school season. A lot of schools open after June in India, and after August in America and USA and Europe and other parts of the world. So one thing we should understand that we mostly don't is that educational institutions are also B2B customers, because if a educational institute like a school or a college buys laptop for its teacher staff, teaching staff, non-teaching staff, admin staff, and for giving out to students, so that's a laptop. And why will they buy new laptops when the price has increased to 130% in this year compared to the last year's level? And this snippet over here is from the company's con call. They are saying that there has been an increase of 5 to 10% in this quarter only. 8 GB DDR RAM that costs now a $126. 16 GB of DDR RAM is costing $231. this has been a significant increase, and the entry level laptops are going from 40,000 to 48,000. That's a significant increase. So that's why a lot of educational institutions will also focus on getting second-hand laptops with good company backing them for warranties and guarantees and other things like that. If you are wondering why memory, RAM, SSD prices are going up, so first thing is that you might be living under a rock, because if you don't know, it's all AI. And how AI? Because you will be wondering that these RAMs are not used in the data centers and such thing like that. But what is happening is the capacity is being shifted and reallocated from the RAM and SSD that we use to the RAM and SSD that the AI and data centers are using. So that's where there is a shortage, and the high demand is asking for more RAM and SSDs. Coming on to the con calls that happened recently, the average sales price has gone up by 12 to 13%. But the people were wondering that if the price is increasing, they will be procuring more items. And for that, the company is saying that they are able to secure prices, material at a older prices because of their contracts that they have. Until the prices are increasing or remain stable, it will benefit the company. If it falls, then it will be an issue for the company. But I don't see that it will be falling anytime soon. It may taper off slowly, and let's not jinx it further. So the company is saying that they have good visibility for the next few quarters and don't see any kind of inventory issues, and they will be increasing their inventory as well, and they have a significant inventory already. Apart from that, 21% is margins is there in India, and internationally it has around 30% of margin. So this is a very good point to see, because what is happening that US and Europe has become about 47% of the geographic spread, and that is why the company is in such a focus, because it is touching 30% uh, gross revenue over there. So 47% of the business is getting 30% of revenue, 30% of margin, and the rest is getting 21%. And it is not the rest, it is only the India. There is also Middle East business that I'll come to here. Yeah, there it is. So as of the recent snippet from the con call, they said that 36% of revenue is coming from India, for the 24% is from US, 23% is Europe, that combines to 40 something percent. And there is Middle East that is rising of 12%, and others are 5%. So the thing I was saying that they come to 49 countries or 50 countries, that is not very useful information, because it's mainly India, US, we count Europe as a whole, and then Middle East as a whole. So there's that. These are the only five geographies that companies focusing on. So is the company a, what do you say, data center proxy? I am not saying it is a proxy. It does not produce anything that goes into data center, but until and unless the data center and AI trade is going on, the world will have a shortage for memory, and that will drive this company's business until and unless the prices don't fall or the data center and the AI capex slows down. So, what are the conclusions? It is basically that refurbished laptops are way better compared to the new one, because they provide significantly similar business operation and other operational metrics on a significantly better pricing. The geographic mixer is improving, the better margin business is getting more business, and the stock remains volatile with a very low float. So there's that, and that was it for EVGNG. And thank you for watching this video. If you have watched till now, drop a thumbs up and follow me on Twitter because I post more frequently on Twitter than any other website. I have been iffy on YouTube and have posted more after like 2 months. So follow me on Twitter for regular updates. And if you have any ideas, any questions, do drop them in the comments or just message me. Thank you. Bye bye.